Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now celebrating 17 years of broadcasting success, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, both for our radio audience here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com. We're glad that you all could be with us. Also, those tuning in to our online affiliates around the world, thanks to our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast. Glad you all could be with us as well. I was just saying to my next guest, it's hard to believe it's been 9 years since recording artist Carl Brister was on our program. At that time, he was discussing a project appropriately called Undefeated. Now he's back with more love. We're going to talk to Carl not only about the journey he's been on with music, but also with life, and how the two have kind of come together in the music he's been giving us most recently. If you guys are not staying connected with Carl, he's gearing up for the release of Love Remixes coming up. So, of course, we'll let you know how you can get that. But, Carl, welcome back to the program, man.
Hey, what's up, Brian? Thank you so much.
Yeah,
9
Carl,
years, brother.
9 years. I want to actually share something because you actually appeared in Conversations magazine that same year, and what you said to me that year was this: I am humbled to be recognized for the gift, but I give attention to where the gift comes from. So I want to ask you now, 9 years later, do you think that is still the key to your success, the fact that you have recognized that God has given this to you?
Yes, absolutely. Because you know where the gift comes from, you're really, really careful with how it's used, when it's used, and what it's used for,
Yeah.
And I've tried to be really, really sensitive with that and do and say and sing about what I feel compelled to sing and create my music around.
So what has it been like for you, Carl, then over the past decade, let's say, to see how not only your career has grown, but the reach and the importance of the message has grown too?
Well, I think the major thing is that I think when we first talked, I was just becoming a dad, and I'm 9 years in now. I got some experience under my belt, and that has really shaped my vision and view of the world and what's happening in the world, and what that means for our generation and next generation. And I think it's really coming out in the music that I'm creating. It's important to talk about the issues that's going on today and try to move people to a better place and give people hope. And, I think you're hearing that in the lyrics now.
Yeah. To that point, to go back again to 9 years ago, and it's great to have that as a reference point in this conversation, Carl, one of the things we talked about at that time was your single Champion, and what you said to me then was, I wrote this song at a really challenging time. I had to encourage myself. This came at a time when I needed a war cry. Have you found that has been the case, that this ministry of music has spoken first to you every time?
Yes, because 9 years means this is not an overnight journey. This is a journey that has some ups and some downs, some twists and some turns. And, you got to be strong. You have to encourage yourself. And I use that same motivation even today to press forward. So, yeah, absolutely.
You mentioned the chorus. When we first talked, you were just becoming a dad. Of course, love is a big part of who you are. It's also a big part of what you've been able to share, of course. The scriptures tell us that God is love. How important has that been for you to share in your message and your music, Carl? Because not only are we able to hear it, we're able to see it, even when you're sharing, photos with the family. How important has that been for you to share?
Just major, man, major. When we look around and you see all the things that's going on, for me, what I noticed is that what seemed to be missing was love. In these horrific police brutality situations, or Asian hate, or bias, or injustice. These are situations where love is missing. And I wanted to write just sort of from that space of what we need, what I feel will help us to overcome. And that in and of itself is love. Love never fails. If we can get back to love, if we can find that, I really feel like we can have a great starting place to address all of the things that we're facing today.
Such a great point. And to that point, in 2020, you released not only the single Love, but also Enough is Enough. Talk to us about that and how you found yourself and your music being kind of shaped by the events that we're going through.
So Enough is Enough was the result of me taking my family to a Black Lives Matter rally and, teaching my sons to stand up for themselves, to use their voices to fight for equality and justice. And I was so proud, as a dad, I was so proud, but in the same moment, watching my youngest son chant those words, enough is enough, with the crowd, it also broke my heart. Because I'm watching the next generation fight for something that they shouldn't have to. And I couldn't believe that here in 2020, at that time, 2021, even still, we're still having this conversation, they're still having this fight. And so those words, enough is enough, resonated with me, just stayed with me. And when I woke up, I just could do nothing but play to soothe myself. And then those words began to attach themselves to the music, and I created the song.
And people have been enjoying it and sharing it as well. We're going to get more into that. I want to say, for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. Recording artist Carl Brister is back after 9 years. Last visit on Conversations Live, he's back to talk about the career, of course, the new music he's gearing up for releasing, but also the response from you guys. So you saw the response to Love in 2020. Is that kind of what led to the remixes? I mean, remixes aren't new for you, I know, Carl. You've done it with other music. But is that kind of what led to the remixes?
Sort of, it was a combination of things. I released the original LOVE, which is a ballad, right as the pandemic had hit, basically. Mm-hmm. And it was prior to the uprisings and the cries for justice with the George Floyd, case. And so at that point, the conversation shifted from LOVE to Enough is Enough. But now, with the vaccines available and people are really beginning to feel more comfortable venturing out safely, people want to come out from quarantine. They want to have a good time, socially and safely, yet the same issues still exist. And so this remix was about really continuing the conversation that we started and giving it something that people could play at the barbecues and, have a good time with. So there's good music and a good message together.
Yeah, what a great thing. And you're gearing up for that release. Before we get into that and the details of it, though, Carl, I want to go back again to that interview from 9 years ago, because we did talk about social media even then, and what was said in the article at that point in 2012 was this: it's not just the crowds he's able to minister to in concerts and events, but those who are able to enjoy the music and the message online as well. And then you said, with the internet and uses of technology, you can reach people all around the world. And then you went on to say, it makes me feel like I listened and I got it right. People will write me and say, your song got me through. It's confirmation that I heard the Lord and I followed him. He was right all the time. I want to talk about how that especially helped you through the pandemic. You referenced that. And, of course, 9 years ago, we understood the Internet was important. But how important was it for you, especially in this past year?
Man, I must have been prophetic. Did I buy some stock? How did I not buy stock, man? Why didn't you tell me? You supposed to tell me.
Hey, look, I didn't know either.
Man, I was pretty on it, wasn't I?
You were. You were on it.
But look, nobody knew. Nobody knew that this would be where we are today. And as it stands, social media and the Internet and all of the online resources we have now has been a saving grace. And in the midst of this entire storm, the ability for us to communicate and share our music, share this encouragement, to go online and perform and uplift hearts, for me it's been a blessing. And it's allowed us to explore some things that were always there for us and to do it even more. And, one memory of all of this that really comes to mind is that during the pandemic, my wife's dad was in a senior facility, and there was no visitations, but they did allow Zoom visits. And I was able to play my music for him and sing to him, and not only encourage him, but encourage the staff that was there as well. So this has really, the Internet and all of these technological advances has been a saving grace throughout this entire time.
Yeah, it really has. It really has. And it's so great that we had that opportunity 9 years ago, Carl. It's great to have that again as a reference point. And then, two, how does that make you feel on a personal level to see not only how your territory has expanded, but honestly, your appreciation for the gift giver has always been there. It has remained the same.
Man, I'm literally looking at the cover to my first project, which is The Journey, and that was released in 2000. And I'm still here, which was the name of a different single that I released as well. And I look at all of these markers, man, and I realize, like that poem, Footsteps, that I've been carried by God through this entire time. Yeah. And so I guess for me it's just sort of confirmation, again, to quote myself, that I heard him right. I'm supposed to be doing this, and I'm still doing it and enjoying it as well.
And that means so much. And knowing that other people are enjoying it and benefiting as well. Again, everyone, recording artist Carl Brister has been our guest. He is not only, of course, celebrating a remarkable career, but also new music, the LOVE remixes. So, Carl, let them know the details. How can they be able to get the music? Will it be released? And, of course, how they can they stay connected with you, man?
So the LOVE remix will be available everywhere online for streaming and downloading beginning Friday, April 23rd, which is the release date. I'm excited about that. It was produced musically by Steve Chef Walker, and the remix was done by Mark Wilson. And you can hear it on Pandora, Spotify. You can go to iTunes and Amazon, everywhere music is streamed and or sold. And you can also visit me socially on all of the social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Carl Brister Official, and also hit me up on my website, which is carlbrister.com.
All right. Carl, congratulations to you, man. I really appreciate you returning back to us to kind of catch us up on everything that's been going on, and looking forward to our next conversation together.
Yes, Cyrus. Now, this one, it can't be 9 years later.
Hey, man, as you can see, I'm here. You welcome back here anytime. You just let us know. We'll make it happen.
Got it, man. Thank you, brother, and I appreciate you. And I appreciate you being such a great encourager throughout this journey.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, man. And we want to thank our friends also at Double Exposure Media Relations for setting up this chat with us for today. And thank all of you, our audience, for being with us, not only the past 9 years, but the past now, as we're celebrating 18 years this year of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.